Muses. Welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot and a new Friday insight with your yes, no, maybe questions. We have 4 piles to choose from. If you have more than one question, you can choose different piles for each of those. And just a little housekeeping before we jump in. Be sure to phrase your questions so that if you were to get a yes, that would feel positive. And yeah, we'll get into, there's some other nuances we'll get into within each pile, just so you don't forget. Okay, so the 4 piles, we have kind of a green or aqua calcite. I feel like I sometimes accidentally say citrine instead of calcite, but calcite. This was a stone someone gave to me. It's very flaky. I actually don't know what the stone is, so we'll just call it the white flaky crystal. And then we have sort of a pink tinted Lemurian quartz for pile 3. And then an amethyst cluster for pile 4. So pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. If you need to pause to fill into which pile is drawing you in, indicating which pile has your aligned message, you can pause here. Otherwise, we'll jump into pile 1 first. Timestamps are at the bottom or in the descriptions, and I will see you in your readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your Friday insight with your yes, no, maybe question. So this reading is going to be in 2 parts. The first part, we are going to investigate some energies around this question. So if the way you phrased your question doesn't really make sense to do some investigation into the energies here, you could just think of something you want to know more about in regard to your question. Otherwise, we will kind of jump into some investigation into the energies, and then the second part we will be doing the actual yes, no, maybe. Okay, so tuning into your pile and how things felt as I was getting ready and how your stone was feeling, I do get the sense that something about this question is refining. Something's kind of starting to make sense, starting to come together, kind of starting to find its groove, its flow in things. Does not necessarily mean you're getting a yes to the question. It just indicates that you're finding some kind of groove. So even if you were to get a no like that, that flow could lead you maybe even to something better. But we'll get to that yes, no, maybe in a little while. Okay, let's see what we've got going on here. We've got love, focus, and illumination. And I love that. I'm almost reading this backwards. I want to start with illumination. I feel like you're having an aha moment, or you will be coming into an aha moment very soon, which is helping you to find what it is that needs the focus around your question, what the important thing is, what the target is, what the goal is here. Helping you to get really clear, really focused in order to know the steps, the planning, the efforting you need to make in order to get from where you are to where you want this question, your answer to be. So definitely some good indication. Again, saying no matter, I'm just getting a lot of positive energy with this reading. So even if you were to get a no, it's sort of like you're gonna come into this knowing of what to focus on, and maybe that focus needs to be shifted a little bit. Again, we'll see later what that means for you, or if that is the case for you or not. But just really positive, and I do feel that aha, leading to what needs to be focused on, hence knowing exactly kind of steps you need to take, will help you to reach some kind of sense of fulfillment, some sense of, vibrancy, colorfulness, beauty and joy in some way. So no matter what your answer, you are coming into a flow of very positive energy here. Okay, we're going to do some tarot confirmation cards to get a little more context into all of this. Awakening. Four of Emotions. Take this top card. And Six of Materials. So your epiphany, your aha, something that is starting to become illuminated for you, could have to do with how you receive in life, like needing to switch into this mode of maybe there's something around this question where you've been forcing a little bit, or like pushing, putting too much external force, like it's your willpower that will get you somewhere. But maybe that's exactly the thing that is having you hit your head against the wall, and you're kind of coming into this realization of like, oh, maybe I need to sit in a certain energy, feel deserving, work on being open to receiving rather than efforting. Because we can effort all we want, but if we don't feel worthy, well, that effort will never lead to what that desire is. And so I think like the thing that will actually get you into that groove, into that flow of what you're needing for your question, is by sitting back and working on some self-love, working on some mantras that tell you you're worthy, that it's okay to receive from others. It's okay to allow some help from others. It's okay to allow things to come to you, that you don't always have to be the one chasing or working or striving, that you can create just like a beautiful magnetic energy within you just because of how you feel worthy, how you value yourself, that brings something to you like a magnet. And so I feel like something's about to happen, or is starting already to happen, where you're starting to understand that a little bit better. And then again, the focus here is to sit back. The focus, I love that because I was thinking for a minute, I'm like, wow, we also have that focus card that was like, tends to feel like some work. This leopard sort of seeing this peak it needs to climb. But that peak that you need to climb, that focus that you need, is that you need to sit back, that you need to step into your personal power, your sense of things can be easier. What is easy is good is, I don't remember who said that or where that came from, but it's a mantra I've been telling myself the last couple weeks that I just heard. It's from like, some very wise sage like Lao Tzu or something. It's probably not actually that, but something like that, where it is like a, some kind of saying like easy is good. So the focus you need is that easy is good. And it is. This is just, again, kind of mirroring illumination over here. That letting some of the efforting off of your shoulders actually completely changes your energy. A new kind of sense of awareness and consciousness comes in that's much more awakened, much more balanced, much more harmonious with life, because you're balancing in that receptivity versus all of that efforting. And it's helping things to blossom better in your life. So even if you get a no, I just feel like this is an energy coming into being for you that will affect, that will touch generally the whole of your life, kind of like a holistic transition. So even if there is a no for the particular thing you ask about, the energy you're coming into is shifting other things you may ask about and other things around you toward being in a much more balanced, flowing place. Okay, let's jump into the second part of this reading, which is getting your yes, no, maybe. And this is where I have you guys pick a pile within this pile, just because I feel like with a collective, there should be a variety of outcomes possible. And so we are going to get into 3 different possibilities to choose from to get your yes, no, maybe that will be very straightforward and clear. We're going to roll a dice, 12-sided dice, where 1 through 5 are no, 1 being pretty hardcore no, 5 being a probably no, 6 and 7 being maybes. There's like more information needed, or things haven't all played out that need to play out. And then 8 through 12 being yes, where 12 is like hell yes, and 8 is like probably yes kind of thing. So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds of silence to tune into these cards and to feel into which pile has your aligned answer. Okay, if you need more time, you can pause, but we'll start with this first pile. We're going to roll the dice first and then get some insight from your card as to the answer you get. So 10 is a pretty good yes. Beautiful. And it says, bat, listen up. You are working through deep soul patterns. Release any outdated beliefs that surface. Exactly. You need to change your beliefs, what you feel you deserve. Okay, pile 2. Let's roll your dice first. 8. So this is a probably yes. Let's see your card. Spider, dream weaver. Tune into the energetic grids around you. Where can you send your energy for healing? Lovely. I always think of the spider as a creatress too. So like maybe this is this question has something to do with creativity for you, and sort of with the 8, like you're on the right track kind of thing. Okay, now the third pile, we'll roll your dice first. 4. So that's a pretty decent no for you guys. Let's see what the card has to say about that. Dolphin, Atlantis. Healing wisdom is surfacing. Stop and listen. So for you, I feel like maybe whatever you are reaching towards with this question, or desiring or hoping for, may not be like in your highest good. And as we've seen from the investigation we did, the energy check at the first part, things are shifting in you. So this question just may not, as those shifts come in and that new focus and flow comes in, you may look back on this question in a week and be like, what was I thinking? That actually isn't what I wanted, or that really isn't aligned for me. But I think that you're, as you kind of relax and come into that easy is good and stop and listen a little bit more, you'll actually hear the question you really want. more aligned questions, more aligned hopes and dreams and desires coming through. So not all is lost here. I just think more beautiful things are coming up for you. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I always appreciate you coming here, supporting my channel. Thank you. I love doing these readings, and I love that it helps some people at the same time. And so if this resonated for you, I always appreciate all of those little supports you can give beyond just being here. Like, share, subscribe. Always very grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And I hope to see you in future readings. See you guys. Hello, beautiful pile 2. Welcome to your Friday Insight with your yes, no, maybe questions. This first part of the reading, we are going to be investigating the energies around your question. So if your question is very black and white, you may want to think of things you would want more insight into around your question before I dive into this. If it's a little bit more of a complex question, you may not need to do that, whatever feels right to you. And you can pause here for a minute if you need to think about that. Okay, and then in the second part, after we do this first part, we will get into the actual yes, no, maybes. This is just kind of an exploration of the energy around your question. Okay, so first of all, I always like to kind of tune into your stone in order to tune into this group. And the way it was feeling as I was preparing your pile was just, I just kept getting this sense of mysterious and intricate, like special, like something special here. Deep, special, intricate. I don't know what that means. So we're just going to kind of dive into the cards because I don't know where else to go with that. It's kind of just, it felt very mysterious to me, but deep at the same time. So let's look at these cards to get some insight. So we got Healing Chaos, Action, and Gateway. Right. Okay. So this to me feels very clear that there's some kind of ending and beginning. You're in transition. You may feel like you're in a liminal space. You may feel confused by certain things. And this is just saying take whatever next step is in front of you as the step you need to take when it comes to this question, especially when you just don't have a great focus or there's uncertainty, fear, things don't feel clear, things feel a little confusing. Just take whatever next step is in front of you. Right now, you don't need to know what the main goal or target is. It's just whatever is the next step you're supposed to take here. And it's because you're in transition. One thing is ending and another thing is incubating, and that's like being in the chrysalis of a caterpillar moving to butterfly stage. It's a soupy mess, but you're about to transition. So is this liminal place. So just whatever next step is in front of you is kind of like the thing that you should focus on right now. That's all you can do is take action on whatever is right in front of you. Okay, let's get a couple of tarot confirmation cards. Feeling that one, the Fool, yeah. Major confirmation, you're in transition. And then we got Two of Voices. Yeah, you feel like you're on the fence with things, like you don't know what decisions to make, and that's okay. I don't think you need to know right this second. And the Knight of Emotions. I love this mirroring. It's like a white horse and a white unicorn, but it's like a white seahorse and a white unicorn. Yeah, it's like magical things are afoot. Trust those stirrings you feel underneath your surface, like something exciting is about to happen, because it is. Something very exciting is about to happen. trust your impulses, take the leap, one foot in front of the other. You don't need to make big decisions right now. It's okay to give that time in order for clarity to, it's like there's things that are still weighing and measuring. You're still getting information. You're still hearing both sides of, is this right or is this right, or this way or that way, whatever it is to you. It's like there's still some things to understand here. And so take your time with that. And you'll know the right time to make the decision because that impulse will be incredibly clear. And then you'll be able to make a decision that kind of takes you out of this place of nebulousness, of confusion. Like when something comes into focus, it's going to be, you'll know, and you'll know the decision to make. So don't let the uncertainty get to you. One foot in front of the other. Do the next thing that's in front of you. And through that, you'll have this moment that just hits you and you'll know exactly what to do and where to leap. And and then this just kind of reiterating what I already said. You sense that something's about to happen. You sense some there's some excitement under the surface for you because you sense something exciting. And that is real. Even though you can't see it, even though it may not turn out exactly like dreams you might be having about what that is, it is something beautiful, new, exciting, fresh. So there is that. Patience here is what is being asked for. One foot in front of the next, and then you'll have that moment of clarity and that impulse to take a leap. Okay, so we are going to move on from here into the actual yes, no, maybe for you guys. My sense is that if you get a no to your question, it's because things are in transition. Things are shifting pretty dramatically. And so, my sense is that even if you get a no, there's still something exciting about to happen. It may just not be the particularities of your question. Okay, so this part, I'm going to have you pick a pile within this pile. I feel like with a collective, there should be a variety of outcomes possible. And so we are going to pick 3 piles. So that's pile 1, pile 2, feeling this card in pile 3. Okay, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds of silence to pick your pile. Before I do that, just a little info. I'm going to roll a 12-sided dice that will give me your exact yes, no, maybe. And then the card that you pick will give some insight into what that answer was about. Okay, so I'm giving you 10 seconds now to tune into the piles. Feel into which one has your aligned answer. Okay, if you need more time, you can pause here. We're going to start with pile 1. So we'll roll the dice first to get your answer. 7 is a maybe, and that makes total sense to me with what we saw in the investigative part. Is like there's in the liminal space, a lot can be shifting very quickly. So I think there's just like time is needed to really know if this is a yes or a no. But the card you have to add into this is Squirrel, spiritual maintenance, be your own caretaker. And I feel like that plugs in beautifully to that. Whatever is in front of you is the next thing you should focus on. And do like plugging into the card that said action, like do take those steps that are in front of you. Whatever you know you can do in the moment, do that, because something about that is helping you to create, even if it doesn't feel like a little thing that's in front of you would be creating some order. It is little by little creating a little bit of organization, a little bit of caretaking, a little bit of even caring for your own energy in this time. Okay. Pile 2 is next, so we'll roll your dice first to get your answer. Ooh, it went off screen, and this is 5. So it's a probably no. But let's see what your card has to say. Elephant, grounding. Ground your energies and emotions deep into the earth. Yeah, I mean, plugging into what we saw in the first part of the reading, again, it's just like a lot is changing, a lot is shifting. And so for you, any like uncertainty, any of that indecision you're feeling that's kind of maybe even tipping you off balance, it's just saying like, take care of yourself right now by grounding, by doing things that center you, that ground you. And I just think that a lot is changing right now. So even though you have a probably no to this, something else is going to come up in its place that's more aligned, that's more right, that is a new path, that is a new something. You know, the earth below you is shifting. It's just not exactly in, you know, whatever you asked, it's not quite connected to that, but it is something, right? Okay, and then pile 3, let's get your answer. And you have a 9, which is a pretty decent yes for you guys. And your card says Phoenix, empower. Fire activation brings creative and spiritual freedom. So yeah, this is whatever your question's about. And as we saw earlier in the reading, like there is a big transformation taking place. And those intuitive hunches you have, I think maybe you've put in a lot of deep healing, deep work to transform yourself. You've put in a lot of effort around this question. It's like whoever came to this pile, it's probably very personal questions, maybe psychological things you've uncovered and witnessed and healed, and it is helping to shift you out of one phase of beginning or being into a new kind of being, a rebirth of sorts. And yeah, so this is saying you've done a lot of work, and so that sense that like life will shift because of that is accurate. And whatever your question has to do with probably connects to that in some way. Okay, so this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Thank you for coming and being part of this reading, letting me read for you, because I love it. So it's great that other people get something from it. Yeah, so if this resonated for you, I always appreciate even further support with just the little things like and share and subscribe. It's very helpful. Also lets me know what you're liking. I also am always very grateful for kind and thoughtful comments to sort of feel the human touch on the other side of this all. And yeah, so this is where I'm going to leave you, and I hope to see you in future readings. Have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your Friday insight with your yes, no, maybe questions and answers. So we are doing this reading in 2 parts. First off, we are going to investigate the energies around your question. So if there are specific things you would like insight into in terms of your question, you could keep those in mind, or just keep sort of an open mind into whatever comes. So before we jump into this first portion, and then the second portion is where part of the reading is where we will get your really direct yes, no, maybes. Okay, so before we look at the cards, I always like to tune into your stone. It's how I tune into this group, and just sort of sensations and feelings that come from it as I'm preparing your pile. And I just got this overwhelming feeling of like rare beauty. So this may have something to do with like your heart or your question more specifically. But on top of that, it's like you may not feel that, or you may not feel that about what you're asking about. You may feel like there's a lot of flaws here. And this is just saying that, well, what I was feeling is that like whatever flaws you perceive, those are exactly the things that give you what's unique about your beauty. And that it's not just like, oh, it's a quirky beauty. It's like, it's real beauty. It's not just like, you know, beauty because everything is beauty. Everything's beautiful for its own original flair. This is like above and beyond that. Like really owning the things you perceive as flaws because they really make something about your question or the energy around this question or you truly stand out beauty is what I'm feeling. I don't know exactly how that plugs into what you asked. Yeah, that will be up to you guys to decipher that, but it's just an energy that was feeling very present. And also this message of go slow. It's okay to go slow. Or maybe it's like this question is a late blooming question or something, and it's okay that it is where it is kind of thing. Okay, so let's look at the cards now to get some investigation. This doesn't have to do with answering the yes, no, maybe. It's just sort of like digging into things, exploring it's just some energy around your question. Okay, so we've got patience again. Oh, I mean, yeah, I said go slow. Patience here. Something is, you know, sometimes the most beautiful things take the longest time to like come into the understanding of what they are and what their beauty is kind of thing here. Freedom. Ooh. Love these birds are like going in opposite directions. The patience is one direction you need to focus on, and then the other direction is like, how does this question or how does the underlying energy that's around this question pertain to a true sense of freedom, maybe embracing things that you perceive as flaws are the things that will free you to really see something more clearly. And then community. A lot of flight things too. And a lot of different kinds of lights, like a really strong, clear sun. And then this background sort of illumination, sort of like the sun shining through clouds, so it's a little more diffuse, but still bright. And then this rainbow, which is spectrum. And that actually, beyond community, what I'm feeling there is like, when you start to understand your particular light, I think you've been patient with the light of this question or of yourself. And you've had to move from it being very direct and harsh light, seeing all the flaws, to letting it be a little softer, a little bit more diffuse, and being like, well, anything that's under the microscope of a harsh light is you're going to focus on the flaws and see the flaws so distinctly. But if I shift my focus to be a little bit softer, then I see the beauty of the thing versus the harshness and the flaws that stand out. The softness, the more diffuse view, helps you to see the beauty of everything. And through that, then you see the whole spectrum of your colors, or the colors of this question, in this rainbow. This all has to do with light, how you're using light to see something here. Okay, let's get some tarot cards to give a little bit of confirmation and context. Oh, 3 popped right out. So yeah, 8 of Voices, that harsh light really putting this question or yourself under a harsh light microscope keeps you trapped in only seeing the flaws, only seeing things in like a harsh way, and it's not the right way to see. It's not the right way to be perceiving what you're asking about. You need to soften it. And that is where we have 8 of Inspiration. And that is, again, that is totally connects to freedom. This is a card connected to Sagittarian energy, which is a sign of freedom. So if you diffuse the light, look at things in a softer gaze around this question and around you and the beauty of things, you're going to start seeing the beauty versus the flaws, and this helps movement happen. It gives you freedom. It gives this question and you traction. It makes things happen and quickly. Okay, and then we have Knight of Voices again, very quickly. It's like your mind would turn on in such a new, exciting, versatile, bold, flared way. If you can use the more softer, diffuse light, which then helps you to see your spectrum of colors, or the spectrum of this question, of possibility in this question. And it gives you endless ideas, endless possibility, as well as that charge to like move into this, to make things happen quickly, to find the thing that you want to focus on and go for it. Yeah, so hopefully that gives you some insight into something around this question, behind the scenes, underlying this question. We are now going to move into getting your really clear yes, no, maybe. So I am a believer that in a collective reading, there should be a variety of outcomes possible. So I am going to have you guys pick a pile within this pile. We are going to pick 3 cards. So three different outcomes, and you're going to pick the pile that you feel most drawn to, and that will hold your yes, no, maybe answer. Wow, I'm not getting a card that wants to come out. Here we go. So pile 1. Pile 2. And pile 3. So I'm gonna, in just a second, give you about 10 seconds to tune into these 3 piles and feel which one is drawing you in, which means it has your aligned yes, no, maybe. And then after, or once we get to the, point of turning these cards over for the pile you picked, we're first going to roll a 12-sided dice where 1 through 5 is no, 6 and 7 maybe, 8 through 12 yes. So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to tune into these piles to pick your aligned answer. Okay, if you need more time, you can pause here, and then when you're ready, we will just start with this first pile. We're going to get your answer first, and then we'll look at what the card has to say about that. So you have a 6, which is a maybe. So there's still more information needed, things playing out, time needed. This is, there's just like not enough information yet to know if this is yes or no, but let's see what your card says to help you kind of settle into that. And we've got Bear, you are the light. Okay, we're talking about light and your particular light. It is safe to step fully into your light. So even though there's a maybe there, this to me feels like if you can find that courage, if you can get over that hump of being able to see your light in a more beautiful way, you can sway this towards a yes. But this is like, it's like work that you have to do in order to get there is what I'm feeling with your maybe. Okay, pile 2, let's get your answer. 2, so this is a pretty concrete no for you guys. Your card says leaf cutter ant. And it says, Army of Life, ask for help, seek support, you are not alone. So there's something in your question where, you know, maybe you're putting too much responsibility, too much pressure on yourself. And because of that, it's just like it's under too much weight here. And I think if you can tune into the beauty of your light and how that is something that makes you feel confident or free to bring other people, other resources, other community in. You know, there was a community card in that investigation. It's sort of like, yeah, what I'm feeling like if you can tap more into seeing your beauty or the beauty of what you're asking about, whatever you've asked about, it's like there's too much pressure on it right now, and it's just, it can't get its legs under it. It's too much. Too much is being held. But going forward, if you can find that more soft, diffuse light, embrace that, let more people in, you can do something equivalent or similar or better for you, a better thing that could get a yes. But again, just like pile 1, like there's some work you need to do in order to get to better things to want or hope for. It just needs to be more open to your beauty, your light, hence that allowing of like feeling like you deserve help, you deserve support for something big you're trying to hold. Okay, last card, pile 3, let's get your answer. And you guys have a 9, which is a pretty good yes for you guys. And your card is Whale, tenderness. Show compassion and forgive what needs to be forgiven. And so because you've already gotten a yes, I want to say that you're well on your way to understanding how to hold your light more softly to yourself, hence how to hold light more softly towards others. You're finding tenderness within this question, and so an ability to know how to expand into something here, how to hold complexity and expansion because of maybe some work you've done around the kind of light you see yourself, hence others, through. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I really appreciate you coming here and supporting my channel. I love doing readings, so cherry on top that it helps people and people want to hear them. So thank you for that. If this reading resonated, I always appreciate a little extra support in the likes and shares and subscribes. Definitely helps my channel, as well as helps me to know what you guys are connecting to, and definitely always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. All right, I hope you guys have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. Hello, pile 4. Welcome to your Friday Insight with your yes, no, maybe questions and answers. Oh, and I need to sneeze. Ooh, it disappeared. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so your reading is coming in 2 parts. The first part, we are going to explore the energy around your question. So if your question is very, very black and white, and exploration of the energies around it doesn't make a lot of sense, you may just want to think of something you would like to know more about. For a lot of you, I think that probably won't be necessary, and it will just be fun to kind of explore some underlying energies here. The second part of the reading is where we will get your yes, no, maybes. They'll be very clear and direct. Okay, so jumping into this first part of the reading, I always like to tune into the stone of a group to kind of tune into your energy and how things feel as I'm preparing. And I got kind of a funny, it was just like one phrase that came through tuning into this, and I don't really know how that's going to play out, but it's what came. I just got a sense of like the word genie, like you have a genie here, does not necessarily mean you're getting a yes, but you know, like even if you get a no, it might be because it's like, oh, if I have a genie, I need to ask for something much better, you know, like much bigger here. I don't know. We'll see where this goes, but something about a genie. So see what that means as we go. Okay, let's look at these first three cards to kind of investigate the energies around your question. We've got stillness, taking risks, and security. Interesting. I feel like the security is the underlying thing here. I don't know if there's something around your question that's coming from a place of maybe a little bit of insecurity, like hoping to find better foundations, more stability in life, more confidence or surety about something. I kind of want to look at the image a little more here. Yeah, this helps me plug into what the stillness is about here. They both kind of feel like they're under this night sky. And I'm a big believer that if we feel a lot of insecurity, that's something that pushes us inward and downward, as a metaphor, like into the root system of a tree. A tree needs deep root systems in order to feel stable, in order to reach, in order to hold the growth of, you know, when we come into harvest season, like an apple tree, when the fruit, you know, like we go through a flowering phase first, and then that helps to pollinate and bring about the fruiting season. And between those two things, trees really need to root down to provide more stability and strength for that weight it's about to hold, for the growth, not only in the branches and leaves growing in that season, but the fruit coming on. And so I actually look at feeling insecure as a positive thing. It means that growth is about to come and you need to stabilize more. And it's an inward and downward sensation. It's going into intuition, coming in line with our soul, hence knowing exactly what it is that we should be reaching for, should be growing in. And so it can feel like a period of stagnation, but it's really this period of deepening into life. And it can feel like life has come to a standstill, and it's because you're needing to become more still, to listen inward to your inner knowing, your intuition, your soul. And so I think that's what's kind of being called for here is like, you know, you may feel stagnation, you may feel insecure, you may feel in the dark a little bit, but that darkness is allowing you to see what light you hold inside of yourself. And I feel like that's what you're supposed to be looking for, is the light inside of yourself. And once you find that and what it is you actually want to reach for, actually want to use the genie for, you'll feel that strength to take flight, to take a risk. So this question may have something to do with like wanting to take a step, wanting to be more bold and courageous and seen, and step into leadership or step into your creativity. But in order to feel the security to do that, you need some of that inward, downward time to come into alignment with what your soul wants, so you know how to grow deeply. Hence, what it is you're reaching for. Okay, let's get some tarot cards to get some context and confirmation here. Let's spread these out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to use the Muse Tarot to get some insight here. 7 of materials. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's sticking out. 6 of voices. And 4 of voices. Yeah, this is all indicating that like where that insecurity may be felt is like, I think you are moving, trying to step into more of your originality, really trusting in the wisdom and strength of your voice. And maybe what that wisdom and strength holds feels like a risk to actually show, goes against the grain in some way. At the same time, I think you're finding the daring that like, well, it's time, this is just needed, this is part of my growth path. I need to embrace who I am, which may mean I might need to change some environments that I'm in. But that it's a little bit of a risk, you know, and so I definitely get where there can be some insecurity and even uncertainty, which is to me, a little bit of a different vibration than insecurity. I feel a little bit of both, a little uncertainty and a little bit of insecurity at the same time. I think you know what you need to step away from, but you're maybe still looking for like what it is you're stepping into though. And to find that, you need to go into that inward and downward, deepening your roots into yourself, into your soul, to find that wisdom that you already hold. And this is just saying like meditation will help you to find that, and it will bring you a lot of balance if you do that work of going inward and downward, finding your inner light, your unique light. You will find that balance by doing that. But yeah, get in touch with yourself, do a little bit of meditation. She kind of feels like she's in a bath too. Like, I don't know if there's something about water that would really help to get you into a more meditative place, coming into yourself, your own energy. Baths, swimming, drinking a lot of water. I don't know, something about water really helping you to tune into yourself here though. Get into some meditative states to get in touch with yourself. But I'm seeing that you've already laid some seeds down. Seeds take time though. They take time to break open, to send roots down into this. So this does feel like something very new. Like whatever this is about, you're stepping into something very new. And so I think just patience here. It takes time to cultivate that newness, those new energies. But I think they're very worthy of your time and attention and investment of your energy and focus into, is what I'm getting. That is the thing that will help you to find that stability and take the risk to even know what this unique thing is that's coming out of you. And then plugging into the genie, that might just be like, you may just need help from the genie, even though it might not be like a really huge wish from the genie, in terms of like, I want $1 billion. It's like, this is this is like an internal genie. That's what it is. This is about internal genie, internal wishes. To wish to understand more clearly and deeply what your uniqueness and originality are, that you already sense you're stepping into and going towards, but like more clarity, more certainty there. You can make that wish right now, I feel like. Okay, let's move to the second part. Hopefully that was insightful for your question or just something in general about you right now. But let's move into the actual yes, no, maybe portion of this reading. And this is going to be kind of a clear and simple process, but I am going to create 3 piles within this pile. You're going to choose one of the 3 that will hold your answer. I have just found that when there's a collective coming to a yes, no, maybe question, for me and for the way I read, I just feel like there should be a variety of outcomes possible. And so that's what we are doing here. Filling this card. So I'm going to pull out 3 piles. And this one. So in a second, I will give you about 10 seconds to tune into which pile is yours, but how this will go is you'll choose the pile that you feel drawn to, which will hold your answer. And for each pile, I'm going to first roll a dice that is a 12-sided dice that will give you the very clear yes, no, maybe. So 1 through 5 will be no, 6 and 7 are maybe, 8 through 12 are yes. And then we'll turn over your card to get a little insight into the answer you got. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 seconds to tune into these piles and feel into which one holds your answer. Okay, if you need more time, you are free to pause here, but we will jump into pile 1. Okay, let's roll your dice first. And you have an 8, so, 8 to me is like probably yes, whereas 12 would be like a hell yes. So this is a probably yes here. Let's see what your card says. It says Flamingo, Unity Heart. You are being called to work on collective healing. I always feel with a flamingo that is embracing something unique about yourself, which tunes into that, that first portion of the reading. It's like there is something like you're really owning about your uniqueness that's coming through, and maybe that uniqueness has something to do with being a little bit more collectively centered, a little bit more compassionately centered. Okay. Pile 2, let's get your answer. So we will roll the dice first. And 1 is a pretty hardcore no, but let's see the card to get some insight into why that is. Dragon, Gaia's gateway, access to Earth's inner wisdom. Yeah, this is just saying that you need to go deeper into yourself, your intuition. A little bit of inner growth is needed here. And once you find that, you will find the stability you need, and you will find a better question, a question that comes more from your soul and your originality. Whatever you've asked about, it may have a little bit too much concern for external things, other people's opinions, expectations, comparison, whatever. There's something that's just like you're needing to get more into your unique vibration. And when you do that, a more soul-centered question or desire or want will open up for you. And when that happens, the path is clear. You don't hit blocks when your soul is aligned to what you want. Okay, last pile. Let's roll your dice to get your answer. 7 is a maybe. So there's still some things playing out here. Maybe their time is an issue or information is an issue. It's hard to know. Let's see, our card might give us insight into that. Raven, wise woman, a change is coming. Yeah, so something's changing in the background here that will affect your question. It doesn't necessarily mean that change, we can't see what that change is right now. So it's hard to see if that will sway your question to a yes or no. But what is certain is the change that's coming is you wising up, you stepping into a more wise place, a wiser version of yourself. So there is that. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I really love doing that. Love reading cards. So thank you for the support, for coming here, supporting my channel. If this reading resonated, I always appreciate further support in the very simple, likes and shares and subscribes if this resonated for you. And even further, always incredibly grateful for kind and thoughtful comments. It's nice to feel that human touch on the other side. And yeah, so this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. All right, see you guys.